shit, that was the wrong button.
Alright, you ready to talk about some shit?
Yes! Yes!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fucking podcast that we do.
Wow.
Welcome
What
to
did
the
you just
Nazi
display?
party. Oh,
Ha ha ha.
thank you. Yeah, so if you couldn't tell by what just happened, where we now record, the thing that we used to record all together, despite being in completely separate locations, has now allowed us to play audio in the recording and everyone can hear it. But I pressed the wrong
We've now
fucking
moved into
button.
a studio. Actually.
Yeah, sorry, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah, we're all rich. Our 21 subscriber and about 6 views a week has pushed us into the next generation.
We signed it. A very lucrative deal.
With?
With oh fuck, what's the name of the guy?
Oh my god. Are you trying to make this a reference to Tusk?
Yeah, but for some reason.
I know all the characters off by heart. It's my favourite film. of all time.
Oh wait, the guy who likes Mr. Tusk, the old guy, his picture on like Google is like a really young version of him. And he doesn't look like him whatsoever.
Fantastic.
I was
Well,
gonna say he financed our podcast.
So we've got a special guest this week to come on to talk about. As you've seen the title, we all three of us watched Tusk the other week. Yeah,
Happy about that.
a great film.
It was actually pretty funny.
We'll get into it. Me and Chris are very, whatever. But yeah, Chris, hello. Chris is a person who has been on the podcast before. Hello.
I have been before.
That's true.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. Many moons. And of course, I'm Dan, by the way, and Joe is with me as per every fucking week.
Hello.
You guys had better be happy that Joe's here. He's taking a break from being behind on work just to talk about Tusk.
I'm gonna get no sleep.
Doing God's work.
Doing God's fucking work. So, do you want to explain how you got us to watch Tusk last week?
I guess I saw some YouTube videos on it. It was in my mind. I was thinking about it a lot. I couldn't help thinking about.
Once you see Tusk or anything about Tusk, it is hard to not think about, to think about anything else.
It kind of haunted me.
Understandable.
And then we watched the England game.
The England versus Scotland Euros.
Mostly on my phone.
Yeah, because the plan was at first to go to a pub and watch it, but then we chose a pub full of dying old people and people with broken legs that had no screens anywhere, and also a wedding, like a really small wedding in the car park.
We did mention this last week, didn't we?
Vaguely, yeah, I think.
We did talk about how sad it was.
Yeah, we said we were going to do Tusk, but Joe pointed out that it was the place of like the dying and the sick and injured.
where people go to die. Thankfully, we got out and then watched Tusk, which we shouldn't. Yeah.
So at first we watched it on Joe's phone while we were there. Then we raced back to my establishment,
The gaff.
and we found out that you couldn't stream live TV on a Chromecast to my TV. So then I had to share the screen of my computer watching it to my TV that's facing where everybody can sit.
And we all had a cuddle and watched.
We all had a cuddle because
because
I don't have a sofa, so we're all on my bed. Yeah, and we didn't even get to watch the second half of it. We watched about 20 minutes or like 15 minutes of it actually on a big screen.
No, I watched about half an hour.
Did we?
It took about 10 to 15 minutes to mess in a bed, but we watched from the 60th onwards.
I just don't remember because it was such a trash game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
And then the
wasn't
game
really
was so depressing that Joe spent his hard-earned money, a whole £3 of it or whatever. So now on YouTube Movies you own Doctor Strange and Tusk.
Yeah.
And we watched Tusk, and alcohol had been introduced. Not a lot, but enough to have the emotions. I mean, I do feel like a tear was shed.
Enough for me to be able to talk to my friends. My social anxiety with my friends.
And we watched Tusk, and I've got to say, I don't know what it was. I don't understand. Me and Chris
for what it was pretty long as well, wasn't it? Like getting on towards 2 hours.
It felt long, didn't it?
I think it was like 1 hour.
What is the official? What is the official runtime of all the 7 tabs I have open for this? It's only an hour and 42 minutes, which last week.
But I mean, it was the film like. It should have only been like an hour, and you would have still got everything.
Yeah,
for sure. So it's pretty simple. Well, it's pretty simple to understand.
It is pretty simple.
It's not a deep film.
So I figured we're not really gonna do this isn't exactly gonna be a review of Tusk, because you know what Tusk is if you've clicked on this, and if you don't know what Tusk is, you don't care. Just we'll talk about it. But I guess
a therapy session.
A therapy session seems accurate.
Group therapy session. Yeah.
I guess to start off with, we can just talk about the interesting origins of this movie. So for anyone who doesn't know, Tusk is a 2014 film, despite the fact that it feels like a 2005 film. I was very shocked when I read that it was 2014. I was like, what? It's like, that's not that long ago.
Yeah.
That is after the first Avengers.
Yeah, in 2014 I was sentient. I was here, and I don't remember.
You were
present. I was present on the internet. I thought I would have heard about this.
I knew about it, but I don't think I knew about it in 2014.
No.
I think I heard about it when I was like maybe.
I mean,
2015,
what are its box office numbers? Is probably.
Does it have box office numbers?
Oh, box office $1.9 million, and its budget was $3 million.
Nice.
Oh,
that's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. Also, as Joe pointed out,
like a cinema showing that low.
Yeah, legally.
Yeah, true. Like, what is the actual rating on it? It's got to be.
Oh my god! Of
It's
all the
pretty
tabs
low,
I pulled up, these aren't the tabs.
But not as low as you think. I think it's about like.
I'm in the age
70%.
rating. I'm in the age rating.
Oh, it's going to be 18.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah, so then
what's the Rotten Tomatoes score?
That clock.
45%.
And that's of the critics, isn't it?
Yeah.
The audience is 35? 35?
51% of Google users like, 5.3 on IMDb, and then 3.8 out of 5, which is like 76% on Amazon.
It's weird that the audience likes it less. You'd think the whole point of this film was that it was designed to be like for the audience to just be a bit of a joke.
Wait, it's a 15?
Well, over here in the UK, we can take shit like that.
Thing is, though, yeah, on Google it says horror/comedy, but it doesn't.
It was neither.
Feel like it's
Yeah.
trying to.
It's
trying to be a comedy. Like it was funny. Like parts were funny.
But
maybe that's why. Maybe
me and Chris
were
talking about this before we were recording. Me and Chris were talking about this, and we were saying, and it's like, it's not actually scary enough to be a horror, but it's also not funny enough to be a comedy. It's in this weird middle ground where. Sometimes it's trying to be satirical, but then it's trying to be serious and actually make a point. And sometimes the camera work is trying to be like, "Ooh, we're not taking this seriously. Look at these crazy zooms." But then also it's trying to make a point about internet culture, and it's such a stupid film. I remember seeing the Chris Stuckman review that was just like, it's not like satire, but it's also trying to be, but then it's not. It's this weird anomaly of they just didn't actually know what they were doing and going for. Because, so, alright, for anyone who doesn't know what the fuck we're on about, what Tusk is a Kevin Smith film. You're right, Jay and Silent Bob's own bloody, what else has he directed? Cops Out or something like that. Cop Out. One of Bruce Willis's straight-to-DVD films. Yoga hoses or something like that. It's about people, Canadians doing yoga, I guess. He's directed episodes of Supergirl, of The Flash, of The Goldbergs. He's directed Jersey Girl. Other things that I don't fucking know. But he's like well respected. I mean, people know who Kevin Smith is. He's kind of well respected within the writing and movie community. He's got a great podcast, Fat Man on Batman.
Yeah, I always view him as like he's like a comic book type guy.
Yes, that's fair
how
to
I
say.
think
Yeah.
of him. And he always wears an American football jersey and a cap.
And sometimes a blazer over the top. That's more lately when he's
Disgusting.
lost weight, but obviously it's clear that he's got a bunch of loose skin because of being fat for ages, so it just kind of looks weird. Looks like he's dying. But for anyone who doesn't know, Tusk is it's an A24 production, believe it or fucking not, somehow. So I guess it is technically a horror. And it's about a man who does a podcast. His name is Wallace. He's got a stupid mustache, who is disrespectful and a dick and like laughs at kids chopping their legs off on viral videos or whatever. Who winds up in Canada talking to an old man to learn about some stories for his podcast. And the old man is like, "Hey, I was once lost at sea and walruses were my best friends." And he's like,
a walrus took me in.
a walrus
some
named
shit.
Mr. Tusk, as he called him. And Wallace is like, "That's pretty cool. Oh no, you drugged my tea." And then the basis of the movie, and this
Oh
isn't
no,
even
my
really
leg's
spoilers
chopped
because you learn this within the first 20 minutes, is like, I'm gonna fucking turn you into a walrus. And you're going to be Mr. Tusk, my friend. You're going to be a walrus.
I can come in with a quote here.
Yes,
Walrus.
please do. Chris has got 3 quotes. Here's the first.
Your life as you knew it is over, Mr. Brighton. So, if you wish to continue living, you will be a walrus, or you'll be nothing at all.
Which at the
I mean,
time,
it's not-
I
it's not true.
leaned
It's not
forward.
false.
I leaned forward and looked at Chris in the eyes, man to man, and I said,
Audible.
I was like, walrus to walrus, and I said, nothing's fine. Just to go with nothing. If that's an option, I don't want to be turned into a human walrus. Just kill me. That's fine. But alas, the
Is
film
man
goes
really
on.
Walrus, or so whatever that one was.
Oh, we'll get to it. Trust me. I know Chris is sitting
yeah.
on that one.
Oh yeah.
So when you watch this film, we went into it knowing what it was. It's become infamous now. I'm sure people know what it is. But it's like it's one of those things where I knew everything about it. Because there is nothing more to this film other than, that's weird. Man turns another man into a walrus,
Well,
and then there's
well-
other
Yeah, I
stuff
wasn't
that
surprised.
happens.
Oh, there was something else that happened that you've missed.
We'll
out. His
get into
incredibly
it.
fit girlfriend.
Oh, jeez, Genesis Rodriguez.
Yeah. Joe, if you wanna scroll up slightly in chat.
Oh yeah, we sent some pretty. I was surprised. So we should actually go through the cast, because like me and Chris were looking at the cast list and we were like, these people surely haven't been in anything viable if they're in Tusk. You know what I mean? And Justin Long, who plays the main character, has been in so much. He's been in Herbie Fully Loaded, Die Hard
gets better.
4.0, Galaxy Quest, The
That's not a
Breakup,
claim to fame.
Planet 51, The Wedding Guest, other movies, but most notably, Zack and Miri Make a Porno. That's another Kevin Smith film. But most notably and most famous of all,
Oh, yeah.
he is the voice of Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit, that's pretty
Justin.
cool.
Justin Long is also never married. Oh, such. He's also in.
Looks a bit like Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but
He does a little bit, yeah. He's also in New Girl. He's in F is for Family, a sitcom called Ed in the early 2000s, apparently. And Genesis Rodriguez, who is not a good actress whatsoever. It's purely just the fact that she's very fit that she's cast as the. She's way too attractive for him. And there's a bit where it's like, ooh, maybe Wallace, you're doing some nefarious things. Maybe you were cheating on her. And he's just like, oh, don't get me wrong, she's like
he's a
beautiful and
funny-
amazing, but
Yeah,
these.
but she's cheating as well.
Well, hang on. Right, well,
Also, it's the dumbest person in the entire like.
they're both so stupid. She
No,
is
it's
the
just
stupidest
it's just
one.
that he's not even any. He's not like a good-looking man. That
No, at
she's
all.
cheating with.
And
like
like,
a potato.
and he's cheating on her, and he's just like, hey, these chicks that love the Nazi Party podcast, hey, they may be like fat and ugly, but hey, they fuck, and it's like your government. What do you?
Oh, I've just read
They
something.
They fuck, man. These my
Go
my
on,
podcast
hit me with
friends,
it.
they
Hit me with it.
So the guy who, all right. So there's this guy who's the other podcast host, because there's two
Yes.
podcast hosts in the film, and
Yes,
there's
the
one that
smaller,
goes to
chubby
Canada.
one with the beard.
Yeah, his like first role or whatever was playing young Forrest Gump.
What?
Wait, was it? Oh no, sorry.
Do you mean his
Yeah,
son?
no, sorry, Forrest Gump's son. Yeah.
Wow. What a rise. Yeah, and he's also in season 1 of The Boys.
Oh yeah, he is.
He is.
The mind reading. What I can't remember his name.
Yes, he is the mind reader guy. Yeah, that's it. That's who he was. I think
Oh, you know
he
that
gets
guy.
killed at some point. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so, and Genesis Rodriguez, so just to the last main member of the cast, other than the surprise that we'll get into. So Genesis Rodriguez, you will not believe, Chris, I asked Chris, I was like, what films has she been in? Chris was like, none I recognise. Joe, you'll know. So she was in Man on a Ledge. She's one of the main characters in Man on a Ledge. Very, very kind of high-end film. She's been in, what was the other one I recognised? She's been in What to Expect When You're Expecting. It's a very kind of, I know you haven't watched a lot of rom-coms, but that's a very famous rom-com. And most importantly, she is one of the main characters in Big Hero 6. She is a Honey Lemon, who I don't remember. I looked up a picture of her. She's one of the heroes. But she's a main character, and she's still doing the voice for, like, Kingdom Hearts 3. There's a Big Hero 6 TV show that she's in as well. And she's going to be in Umbrella Academy Season 3. She's going to be one of the alternate universe kids from the Sparrow Academy that we're going to learn about in the new season. So that's pretty cool. She's actually been in some really good stuff. But yeah, so before we probably delve into this, when you start watching the film, there's a little bit of text that come up that says, based on true events. And I remember turning to Joe and saying, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. And then at the end it's kind of like, oh, it's actually, lol, we were just pulling your leg. It's based on true events in the fact that Kevin Smith and whoever he does the podcast with, I couldn't be asked to look it up, he's not relevant. They were on a podcast one time and they just started talking shit and making stuff up about, they basically made this movie like as a concept in that podcast, and they were joking around, and then they went and made it. So apparently it was only a year before the film was made. Apparently, yeah, the film, so in 2013, around 11 minutes into his podcast, Kevin Smith had found this weird story on Twitter, which is fake, by the way. I wish it would have been real. But it was a listing on an apartment rental website that was offering up a free room in a nice house under the condition that the tenant would occasionally have to dress up as a walrus, as the owner of the house had apparently once lived on an island with a walrus and dreamed of reliving the companionship in his older age. And Kevin Smith was like, yo, this is a fucking horror movie here, because they started spinning off and joking
scary.
around and being like, maybe this guy's a psychopath and all this stuff. And this article, by the way, it's on the website The Verge. It's Tusk review. Kevin Smith turns a weird podcast into an even weirder movie. I highly recommend people read it. I'll leave it in the description below, because it's really funny to read how this guy tries to go in depth and philosophical about Tusk. It's quite funny. He's like, Maybe this is a mirroring of the internet culture's mockery of misfortune, and maybe
Jesus.
if you make a podcast, maybe if you joke about someone having misfortune, you should have your legs cut off. Like, what?
Yeah, man.
Get us? But I highly recommend people read that.
I mean,
It's a very funny
Bro,
article.
one of the videos that I watched, like, they were kind of saying, it was like half and half, where like the first half before like a certain point they were like, yo, this is really like, yo, this is kind of like pretty good. But from the start, like It's not.
It's immediately the
good.
stupidest film ever.
It's not
So-
it's not a good concept. It's not good acting.
So how about because there's very little to this movie, should we just take a quick 5-10 minutes to just go through for anyone who hasn't seen it, who obviously don't bother going out of your way to watch this, it doesn't matter. But do we want to just quickly run down the plot and like talk about for anyone who hasn't seen it, what the fuck this film is actually about?
Well, basically, fucking Wallace needs a podcast guest because the guy that he was gonna meet killed himself.
let's just quickly say, so immediately right off the top, as Joe is saying, right off the top, you cannot take this movie as good because it opens on these two guys, Wallace and whatever the fuck his best friend's called. It opens on the two of them recording this podcast. It's called the Not See podcast, by the way, but it's called the Not See podcast. But just for jokes, many times they say, "Oh, the Not See party." No one pronounces "not" as "nat." Anyway.
Also, what's the second meaning there apart from just sounding like Nazi?
So it's the Not See. So it's things that they haven't seen that they're then telling them about, maybe. But then if you haven't seen it, how are you supposed to laugh at a kid?
Only the guy
off?
sees. Yeah.
I don't know.
The potato man.
Is that what
his
we're
name is
calling
Haley
Wallace
Joe,
a potato
whatever
man?
his name.
No, the other one's potato. I was
yeah,
gonna say he's
yeah,
not a
potato
potato.
man.
That's
Yeah.
right. For simplicity, let's call them Mustache and Potato.
Yeah.
So Wallace, Mustache, they're laughing about. So it's apparently this. So there's a kid with a katana who accidentally cuts his own leg off, and right off the bat, the
Just a
CG,
clean slice.
the
straight
CG
to
for him
bone.
cutting his leg off looks like a fucking cartoon. Like Fortnite has better graphics than that.
Yeah, bro, they treat it like an epic, like it's an epic fucking fail army compilation clip, and bro, I'm sorry, it's just not funny. Like if that happened in real life,
How would
you'd be
that,
like, oh wow, that must have hurt.
There are,
he's
like-
dumb, but you're not gonna be like.
There are a couple
epic.
videos on the internet that you can find of people like shooting themselves in the face and like that haven't been taken down yet and stuff like that. And it's never fun. It's not like if a guy actually cut his leg off in a video, you're not just gonna be like, "Bah!" Like you'd just be like, oh, okay. And they're laughing at it like it's the nunchuck kid in those things when he's got the nunchucks and he falls over. Apparently it was a reference to Star Wars kid, you know, that kid that whips out like the lightsabers and just swings them around like, I'm epic. And I was like, what? I was like, that's taking it a bit too far. But anyway, so right off the bat, you're like, this film's fucking
Are
stupid.
you talking about Airsoft Fatty?
No, I'm talking about Star Wars Kid. Apparently he's called Star Wars Kid. That's what the article told me.
Okay.
But yeah, so right off the bat, you're like, this film's fucking stupid. So he goes to Canada, Mustache, Wallace, goes to Canada because he's going to interview this kid who cut his leg off to make fun of him further. But the kid kills himself, and he's like, great, this sucks. So then he's like, I need a story before I go back to
He
Canada.
gets
I can't
really
make this
pissed,
triple.
by the way.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this story. Well, still not pissed enough to drive fine and all this stuff.
No, I mean,
Oh,
actually,
pissed
like,
off.
he gets
Right, sorry.
annoyed.
I know,
Like, he's
because-
annoyed at
Sorry, my
this
bad.
kid. Like, fucking this.
I thought you were
kid.
referring to the fact that he goes to a bar immediately afterwards.
No.
But like, so he reads a notice on a notice board. As Joe points out, it's not a notice; it's like a goddamn essay, of an old man being like, "Yo, free room if you let me tell my stories. I got cool stories about the past."
Not
So he
weird.
goes there, and the old man's like, "Yo," they're telling normal stories. He's drinking tea for one, so it's like immediately like, well, he's going to be drugged.
And
Great.
if we can set up the epic prank, the old man's in a wheelchair, knocking it out, and he says like he just needs help with like some household chores and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, no, just,
Oh, sorry. Is that the prank? Oh, he's pranking him like, lol.
Yeah.
I'm a helpless old man.
But also, yeah, he doesn't
Oh,
need
wait.
the wheelchair in the end.
Exactly. That's the prank.
Exactly.
Oh, that's the prank.
So
I'm
There's
a
so many.
helpless old
There's
man.
so
but
many
wait,
layers.
But
he
wait,
rocks up
I'm
and
gonna
the
turn
old
you
man's
into
in
a
wheelchair.
walrus.
I'm gonna turn you into a walrus real quick. So, sorry, I'm just thinking about the plot. So they're telling stories or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, I met Ernest Hemingway." He's like, "No fucking way!" And then he points to a thing above his fireplace and goes, "Wow, what's this?" He's like, "That's a walrus penis." and that he's like, that's pretty cool. And then he's like, yeah, walruses, Mr. Tusk, this walrus saved me from a shipwreck, and I love
Mustache
walruses.
guy jerks off the penis, the walrus.
As
penis.
a joke.
yeah.
Joe rewinded the film to make sure I saw that because I was looking at Chris going, what the fuck is this?
It was a key moment.
It was a chemo. I'm glad you did go back. And then the guy passes out from drugged tea, and the old man's like, "Bah!" And then he wakes up in a wheelchair. One of his
Yeah.
legs have been cut off, and the old man, the acting is so fucking terrible. And he's like, "Oh, a spider bit you." So the doctor showed up, and he had to.
He removed all the phones from the house.
He's like, "Why can't I call you?" And, oh, well, the doctor removed all the phones. And then he's like, "By the way, the doctor cut you." He's like, "I can't feel my legs," and he's like, "Well, one of them's been cut off." And then the old man's like, "Lol," and you're like, "Does he reveal to him? What does he reveal to him then?"
No. Then he's like going. I think at that point he still doesn't know,
Yes.
and he's like, "I'll just rest up. Like the doctor will come around like later, whatever."
And then later on, he has dinner with him.
Yeah.
And they get into like a big argument, and he's like, "Give me my fucking phone. What's going on?" And the old man's like, "Well, I'll tell you what's going on. I'm turning you into a walrus. I'm gonna turn you into a fucking. I kill people, get their skin, make it into a walrus suit. I put you in it. We're gonna have a great time." And then, as Chris said, the quote, "You must live as a walrus or nothing at all."
Yeah. Oh, and then also, just after that, like it's night, and he wakes up. And like he thinks the old man's asleep, so he goes and searches for his phone, and like,
Which he finds.
Yeah, well, no, his girlfriend's calling him. but
What
by
was
the
his
time he gets
what
there,
was his
the-
fucking ringtone? What was his
shit, man.
ringtone? It was so funny.
It's some shit like bruh, some shit like that.
It was some
Some
stupid-
degenerate,
And also
shit.
for something, I don't know if any of you noticed, because then, like, yeah, as Chris says, his girlfriend's trying to like calls him, so that's how he finds the phone. But he misses the call, so he calls her back. And when it calls her phone and Potato's phone, they both also have the same ringtone.
It's like a man grunting. In
Yeah,
a sexual manner, isn't it? It's like
it's like I don't know if anybody listening has seen Archer, but there's a constant gag in that everyone has the ringtone Mulana butts, baby white butts. it's like on that kind of level. And by the way, just a thing I want to mention earlier, this Nazi podcast is doing so well that Wallace Mustache Man is cheating on his ridiculously hot girlfriend. With like chubby fans, and also it's doing so well they sell a bunch of merchandise and t-shirts, and as we find out when the girlfriend is in her bathroom like going to answer her phone, she's wearing a Nazi party crop top.
Oh yeah.
They come in pajama
she is.
crop tops, folks. But yeah, Chris, sorry, what is the reveal that we find out when she finds out that Wallace is cheating on her? She has this where she's looking at the camera monologue.
Oh, is this where it's revealed on who she's cheating with?
Yeah.
And it's it's Potato. It's this little
So-
like chubby.
She's like crying at the camera, which obviously is meant to be Potato. And she's like saying like, "Oh, he's cheating on me, he's making me want to kill myself, whatever, but every time he cheats on me and it makes me really low, you're there to pick me back up or whatever." So
Bear in mind, both of these are like not good looking men at all, and she's
he's like a fucking potato with a beard.
Yeah.
And she's like model level gorgeous. She is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. And like, but this is the thing, we're gonna get into it after we've gone through the whole like plot thing, but this is the thing where it's like, it's not a comedy though, because you might think, oh, they're being funny because it's just, no, they're just stupid, and they're like, no, the girl's gotta be, it's not.
Even the next part is meant to be funny, like, because he leaves her a voicemail then, because he like gets his phone,
And
But
he's
then you
like,
see the
yo,
old
this guy's
man-
turning me into a walrus, help, I'm in Canada somewhere.
Yeah, and you see the old man like walk up behind him like silently, and you're like, oh no, he doesn't need his wheelchair, and then he knocks him out using the whale penis. And it's not meant to be funny.
And he like, the music's like dun dun, like Jaws, and like the old man's holding on, and like, I told you, you are a walrus. Like, but it's like he says it so seriously. It's so funny. And then basically,
I wish he sniffed the whale penis afterwards.
oh,
No,
it made it
walrus
so
penis.
much better.
Sorry.
And
So
then
I wish it
he's-
was a wild penis.
And then we get like a moment of him sewing up, like he's cut off another leg of Mustache Man, sewed his arms together, stuff like this. And
like,
he's
cuts his
talking.
tongue out so he can't speak.
Cuts his tongue out so he can't speak, so he can only go "Ugh."
Like a walrus.
Like a walrus. But and then there's this amazing moment. Then again, because this is another thing where it's not meant to be funny, because he's like doing this monologue to Mustache, who's like obviously unconscious, getting operated on, and he's like telling him how, I don't remember fully what it was, but basically he was orphaned as a kid, and then politicians and like religious people took him in and raped him till he was like every day till he was 15. And he's like, that's when I realized man is the true monster. And maybe we should be walruses, because walruses might be better than men. He's like, I escaped at 15, got on a boat, and then crash and walrus. And I'm like, there's so much time in between that, because he was saved not that long after, wasn't he?
Well, no,
And
he
by
talked
then
for a
he'd
while.
killed-
He says like how he like joined like the army and stuff, and then he met Hemingway and.
Well, no,
and all
but
of
what
that.
I'm saying is, so like he was still only like he couldn't have been any older than like early 20s or something when he finally got shipwrecked, right?
I'm not sure.
He looked still like a teenager almost. He looked very young.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Yeah,
let's say
a lot
20.
younger than he is.
Yeah, let's say 20. So, like, but what I'm saying is, so he was shipwrecked at 20, and then he found Mr. Tusk. And it doesn't actually specifically say how long he lived on an island with Mr. Tusk, but a rescue boat found him, so it couldn't have been too long after, and by that point, he'd gone insane and, like, beaten Mr. Tusk in a fight and was eating him or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he was saved. What happened in the, like, 50 years in between that? Well, he's not quite 70, he's probably a bit younger, isn't he?
It was never explained how he seems pretty rich.
Yeah, he's got like a massive house and stuff.
Where does this wealth come from?
What did he do? This is what I mean. What did he do for 40 years in between making people into...
I think they did mention something, but like I've got like a very vague memory of him mentioning something like how he got the money, but it's just
Was it
like
something
a
to do with the
small
army,
thing I
like
don't remember.
I don't know.
Fuck.
But even still, it's like, you know, what did this guy do? But anyway, so yeah, they try and humanize the walrus man-making machine. And then, my god, finally we get to what we've been waiting for. My man is in a human it's like made of human skin and other parts. And I think you mentioned, Chris, that it's not actually that impressive. It's basically just lumps of skin sewn together, and he's just inside of it with two tusks inserted in his, like...
No, they're his leg bones, aren't they?
Oh, they remove his leg bones to use as tusks.
Yeah.
But even still, it's still just
Ooh.
bones inserted into whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of
basically
flops
cut your legs
around?
off, he took the bones out, the legs he cut off, kind of like modelled them into tusks, knocked a couple of his teeth out, somehow attached.
Jesus Christ. So, and then he's like, yo, you're going to learn to live as a walrus now. And he's like, and in a very short amount of time, he kind of submits to this and he eats raw fish. He's like swimming with him, like kind of looking in his eyes, like, "Meh."
No, he eats one raw fish.
From what we see, but he
Yeah, but
eats it like pretty straight away. My favorite thing about him eating the raw fish is they show him going down to eat the fish, and then they cut away and they cut back and a chunk's taken out because they just wouldn't even like get a prop fish or just
Yeah, I think he may have only eaten one, because by the time he ate a fish, that was like clearly like a few days into it, and like.
But that makes even less sense for the ending, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm building up to. Like what I'm saying, he submits to his environment so fast.
Yeah. And they've got so many of like these weird like trying to be deep and emotional scenes where like there's one where the old man is like lying against Walrus Mustache Boy. And like he's having this long monologue.
It's like a heart to heart.
Yeah.
Again, trying to like humanize this relationship.
Yeah. And like, got a quote here from it.
Oh, go on, hit me.
I'm so very tired, Mr. Tusk. battered by a life of cruel fate and poor decisions and the terrible consequences.
But the best thing is that we learn he's done this multiple times. Because there's one dead walrus human at the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
And we know there's at least one more because when we get introduced to the best character in the film that we'll go over.
I was gonna say how haven't we mentioned him
I
yet?
know we will. There's a detective who says that there was this hockey player that went missing who had his legs removed and all this stuff, but they found the body of it. So there's been at least 2 before him. And how many humans do you have to kill to get the skin for that suit? Like, how many has he killed?
I think they mentioned like a number at one point. Like I think
Maybe.
I think they said something like 14 people had gone missing or something.
That doesn't
Something
seem
like that.
enough. For 3 walrus suits? Along with the 3
I might have
people
got- I
in
might
the
have got
walrus
that wrong,
suits?
but I think they did mention a number at one point.
But alas, so anyway, this stuff's happening. And then the side plot of this movie that comes out of fucking nowhere like an hour into the movie, we get the best character in the film. Whatever the fuck his name was, I don't remember, I can't be asked to look. We get Johnny fucking Depp. Joe told me it was Johnny Depp and I refused to believe it. I was like, this is not Johnny Depp. It is! Johnny Depp is in Tusk. Johnny Depp shows up as a bumbling Canadian-French detective. And it's like, they clearly had Johnny Depp. We're going to go into trivia after this, but just the number one trivia is that this movie was shot in 15 days. And it fucking shows by how long scenes go for.
That's sick.
Joe has an Amazon box on his head. And so the film was shot in 15 days, and I reckon they had Johnny Depp for about 2 of those days. Because there's one diner scene where he talks about his connection to the case to the girlfriend and Potato who were trying to find him in Canada. And this diner scene goes on for about 10 minutes. Like, it's so long. And then it's intercut with like a 5-minute scene of Johnny Depp finding the guy who is, whatever the guy's name is, Howell or something like that, who is the killer guy who turns him into walruses. And this time he's in a cabin pretending to be retarded or something.
Yeah.
And there's this really unfunny scene where somebody pretending to be French and just like, isn't it funny how I talk? And a guy going, and it's meant to be funny, I guess. And yes, we get that for 15 minutes, and then we get one last scene of like Johnny Depp. They find Wallace's car in a lake, and there's this really funny bit where Genesis, I can't believe her name's Genesis, whatever her character's name is, the girlfriend tries to run after it, but it's such a, like, it's clear that she, you know, because like as you're an actor, you know that the scene goes, you go to run for the car, Johnny Depp stops you and goes, there, do not try. But like it's clear that she's just like aware that she's gonna be stopped. She like turns and makes no effort to run. She like barely puts her leg forward and he goes, no. Like, it's so fucking stupid. And again, none of this is intentional. It's just bad. It's not trying to be satirical. And we get a scene where Johnny Depp's like, yo, I think we've probably found the house, I guess. Here's some guns. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're Americans. He's like, but you're Americans, you use guns. And they're like, but we don't use guns, Johnny Depp. But then they're in the woods somewhere and they hear, like, Wallace screaming.
Yeah, because...
Hang on, we'll get to it. Hang on a second. They hear him screaming, and they travel a full, like... I don't know how far they travel to get to the house, which there's a long driveway to a gate before the house is there. And this, like... And then it's like, inside of the house, in the basement, in like, a separate room that has a giant locked, like, safe-like door to keep him in, and they hear the screams.
He's just in that much pain.
And they take the guns and they make way, but funnily enough, Johnny Depp doesn't follow them because they had him for 2 days, so he wasn't there. But yeah, Chris, go on. Why is he screaming?
Well,
after the nice heart-to-heart that he has leaning on Mr. Tusk.
The old man was very guilty that he had to kill Mr. Tusk very unfairly.
I had to do it to survive.
So he decided to make his own walrus costume he could get in himself, and
that's the point. There's 4 walrus costumes. One for him. There's 4.
And as equal footing, both as walrus, then they have a fight to the death. to determine, I don't know, like the king of the walrus.
To be fair, I think the idea was that he's like, a man was too strong for Walrus that day, so I'm going to even the odds, and because maybe if man is really Walrus, let's see, or whatever. And to be fair, this is the one moment where they're clearly trying to actually make it as comedy, because the music is that it was actually really fucking funny. Because it's just two people in Walrus suits kind of smacking against each other. It's amazing. And also, my point there is, if you can make a Walrus suit where you can just climb in and it's just the same, why do you need to cut off people's legs just for the tusks? Why do you need to sew the arms closer together if you can just do it?
I think it's so they're permanently a walrus.
Oh, I see. It's because he can. Because as we learn, halfway
But that's the
through
thing. It's a suit.
Yeah,
It's a walrus suit.
like they're not actually
Like,
a walrus.
he's in a
they're
suit.
Just, but he is stuck in it, I guess. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
There's
anyway,
a man inside there. Like,
But then-
he's not just a walrus.
a
after
few-
four
you
days,
say that,
a week.
but shall I bring in the quote?
Oh, go on.
From,
Last quote.
from Howard Howe. As
Is
his
this
name
mid-fight?
No. This was earlier, but
Oh, okay.
it's
It's apropos.
yes. To solve a riddle older than the Sphinx,
Oh,
to answer the question which has plagued us since we first crawled from this earth and stood erect in the sun, is man indeed a walrus at heart?
But again,
Yeah,
it's
man.
not. At that point, it's not trying to be funny.
No.
I don't understand. I said this to Chris. I was like, when the movie's trying to be scary, it's hilarious, and when it's trying to be funny, it's stupid and it's just cringe. Like there's like while they're fighting and they're trying to find Wallace, the two are like the girlfriend and Potato with the beard are trying to like aim down hallways and stuff, and they're clearly trying to be comedic. Like they'll lean over a banister and aim the guns, and the camera will comedically like in camera zoom out. But it's not funny. But it's not funny. I don't get it. What? So anyway, like they're fighting and they're just kind of slapping heads. It's very unclear. It's very unclear who's winning. But then, bloody Howard or whatever his name is like, "You've made it further than most." And then he just goes back on himself and goes, "Maybe you're too good for me in walrus form." And he just tears out the suit and is like, "Now you must fight me as man." It's
he
like
basically just stands up and is birthed out of his walrus
it's like,
suit.
you know, in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, when you fight the guy you think is the final boss and you kill him, and then suddenly he's an even bigger rainbow man. And, yeah, that's a throwback. But then anyway, so he stands up and he's like, "But now I'm going to win."
Taboo.
Grr. Huh?
The blue guy.
Yes,
Taboo.
the blue guy who then turns into a
Yeah.
big blue guy with angel wings and he's rainbow.
Yeah, because
You feel me, dog.
And you fight Master Hand, and then you fight
Master
Taboo, and
Hand,
then-
yes.
Yeah, or Trick
Ah,
or Crazy Hand. Master Hand, then
I think
Crazy Hand.
yes.
Taboo, and then yeah.
God,
sorry.
we've all played Super Smash Bros.
Sorry.
Brawl.
Sorry, guys.
No, don't be sorry. That's probably more interesting than this. And then
The emissary. What's the adventure mode called?
I don't remember.
The story mode. Some space.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
Anyway, so he stands up and then he just like Mustache Man just uses his tusks to stab him in the foot, and Old Man goes "Oi!" and then falls over, and then he just keeps stabbing him by going "Meow! Meow!" like just like moving his head to stab him, and then like the guy's happy. The guy's like, "You are now a walrus."
That's man's weakness, feet. That's why
Yep.
he got rid of them straight
And not
away.
having tusks. Also, quick point: did he shave his mustache?
I mean, I guess.
Because you don't see it in the suit, but I guess the suit is probably just covering it. Interesting point. But yeah, so anyway, so then that's when the girlfriend and Potato rush in, and they see him like killing, and they're like, "Wallace, no!" And then Wallace turns around to them, and it's unclear because all he can do is go. "Arr!" It's unclear what they were going for, but what I took away from it was that he's now insane and actually thinks he's a walrus. So like. That's what, because like she was crying like no, not like oh, like I mean obviously it's horrific to find that he's a walrus now, but he didn't do it wasn't like a look at them like oh thank God, it was like "Rah! Rah!" like he was like going crazy.
Yeah, his animalistic tendencies finally set in that.
And then
that's
Johnny
kill.
Depp walks into the scene because they finally had him for one more day, and he pulls a shotgun, and they're like, no, and then it cuts away. And obviously your first thought is, well, it just makes sense that Johnny Depp killed him, and maybe the ending's going to be, you see Potato and girlfriend get out of a car with something in a newspaper. And I thought it was going to be, they're going to go to his grave or something, and there's something in the newspaper, like, wrapped up that they're going to leave at the grave. Maybe it's the samurai sword of the kid who chopped his leg off. Maybe it's his tusks. That would maybe make sense, because the film's called Tusk. But, Joe, what happens? And I was not believing this as it happened, because Joe told me the ending was clapped.
Oh, yeah. The ending was the best or the saddest part? Probably both.
Stupidest.
Yeah, they go to a zoo.
And
it's not even a cool zoo.
I just
like,
turned
why would it
to,
be a
like,
cool zoo? It's
I
just
turned
a
to
sad
Joe
zoo.
as soon as I saw the zoo, and I just went, no, 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 no. And I did not stop till it ended.
Yeah, so they go to this zoo, and there's this enclosure. And this enclosure, it's got to be like 6 by 2
It's
meters.
so small.
6 by 3 meters,
It's
maybe?
so small. And it's like,
With
what?
like a little
it's
kiddie pool.
it's
Not
a
a
little
kiddie
kiddie
pool,
pool.
but like the size of one.
It's like a little kiddie pool with the beach ball that was in the other pool and a hut.
Yeah. Fuck.
And who emerges?
Mustachio.
They kept him alive and he's now in a zoo. But
They
not
just
a
throw
public zoo.
They just throw a fish at him.
And he eats the raw fish. And she says to him, we
and
get a
a tear rolls
flashback.
down his
We get a
eyes.
flashback where, like, she's talking to him or something, and she's like, God, I miss when you used to cry. Crying is a sign that you're human, wink.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I can't remember who said that.
That was the girlfriend talking to him.
Was it?
Yeah, it was post when they'd had sex, and she was
okay.
like, I miss when you used to cry all the time.
I'm saying, like, that's what separates us from the animals.
Yeah, she literally says
Cry.
that's what separates us from the animals, and we're like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back, and she says... she says, I'll always love you, Wallace. What?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot, love.
And then Wallace looks up, and a single tear goes from his eye, and then he
This
crawls
is how you
back
know
into
love
his...
is fake.
He crawls back into his hut, and then the film ends, and you're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Johnny Depp's character's fucking retarded. Who thought that was a good idea? I think he was doing that mid Amber Heard abuse. That's probably his only escape.
Yo, this sold like the prop like walrus suits that they used, and it's like 6.5 foot long, and it sold for like $950.
Who the fuck has that? They have definitely tried to use it.
Yeah, but I mean for
That
like
is
what,
not
about
nice.
£700. That's a bargain.
I suppose as an actual film, well, I mean, they lost so much money. They're just trying to get it back. So yeah, I realised that went for a while, but there's the whole film. There you go. So this is coming later than usual, but yeah, is anyone ready for some trivia? You would not believe the kind of trivia we can get on this. Now that everyone's on equal playing field, if you've seen the film or not. So yeah, I guess just real quick, just before we go into that, all I'll say is, yeah, we've said it a million times, but it's clearly not a I don't know what this was. Like, it's not even a case of, like, it's too smart for me, or they were going for something that I don't understand. Nobody knows what this is. Everybody's like, I don't know what they're going for here, and I just don't see the point. I don't see the market for it. Like, it's not funny enough to be like a, hey, I remember when I made that cult classic film that's really funny, or whatever. It's not like The Room, where it's so bad that it's good. It's just bad on a like not offensive level. It's just bad on a level of like it just gets boring at a certain point. Like, you find like the mood, like in the first 20 minutes you've already got him like being drugged. In 20 minutes he's already drugged and like a leg's been cut off. But then we have to wait till like an hour and 10 until he's actually a walrus, and then he's a walrus for about like 10 15 minutes, and then suddenly he's fully a walrus for the rest of his life eating raw fish at a zoo. What? Like, they're still feeding him fish?
Yeah, no effort was
That's the
made to try and
weirdest
salvage
part.
this broken man.
Like, Like, did they? Yeah, did they
just
not
leave
be
him
like,
alone.
you will at least give you like steak or something? I don't know.
Thing is, this would be on.
Oh,
This would be on the news. Everyone would
yeah,
know
that's what I remember you saying that. Yeah. It's so funny. Like, it's so funny how bad it is. Like, you just laugh at how bad it is. Like, I think alcohol had to play a part in that, because I think if we didn't have any alcohol in our system, I think we actually would have just been bored. I actually think we would have just been like, Jesus Christ, when is, like... It's just dumb. Like, I don't see any appeal to it whatsoever. But hey, we're still talking about it. But anyway, would you guys love some trivia?
Yeah.
So obviously we've originally got that the movie was shot in 15 days. And the second one down, I haven't fully gone through all these because I went through the first two and went, Jesus Christ, there's 45 items of trivia. Like, oh my god, like, we can just burn through these. Some of these are amazing. So, Quentin Tarantino was offered the role of Guy Lapointe. That is
the detective?
Johnny Depp's character.
Oh.
But he turned it down, saying he dug the script and couldn't wait to watch Michael Parks let loose his internal Kraken. So apparently Quentin Tarantino thinks this script was great. Kevin Smith said in an interview that Tarantino thought he was being offered the role of Wallace, like the main character, not Guy Lapointe. And that's why he turned it down, which led to Johnny Depp being cast.
My God.
Like, this, like, Kevin Smith is respected. I don't get what was the... Is this maybe a joke funny to people who make movies? Is that maybe the joke? I don't know. Nah, the second piece of trivia is boring. According to Kevin Smith, most of the budget was used to obtain the rights to use the song Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. I would like to know how much... Like...
It's not even that it's not that it doesn't actually say Tusk, does it? In the song, or does it?
I don't know. I don't actually know that film. What the? Oh, well, that's different and wrong, I guess. So, basically, there's a bit of trivia that's like, so when Kevin Smith was tweeting out if he should make the film or not, people voted whether they wanted this film made, and more people said yes than no, which is funny because then it didn't make any money, so I don't understand. But yeah, so during the restaurant scene where Johnny Depp is saying about the hockey player that goes missing, the hockey player is called Gregory Gumtree. Apparently, Kevin Smith called him Gumtree because it's a reference to Gumtree, you know, like the auction Craigslist type site over here. You know,
nice
that app?
reference.
Yeah.
And apparently that's where he saw the original prank advertisement for, like, the Walrus, you know, the Walrus room staying.
Okay.
So I guess someone put that on Twitter, I don't know.
Sure, Kevin. Sure, Kevin.
What the fuck? Justin Long visiting the bathroom and turning the doll's head away from him while he goes for a whiz is based on a story from Kevin Smith's childhood that he told on his podcast. So I guess in Kevin Smith's toilet there was a doll that looked at him and he'd turn it round.
Fuck, I guess.
I'm not gonna lie.
Kevin.
I'm not gonna lie. When I'm having a shit, I cover the camera on my phone with my thumb.
Really?
What, you're scared of someone seeing your shitting face?
I guess, yeah. I get it. I think I don't know when it started, but it won't stop. It's out of my hands. It's in my thumb, but it's out of my hands. For some, I just do it every time without even thinking about it. Like if I'm looking at my phone, my thumb is just covering it, and I'm like, oh yeah. I'm just worried about people seeing my shit face, I guess.
Do you ever watch stuff on your phone with like you put your phone on like on the bathroom floor, and you like watch stuff on your phone whilst you're having a shit?
No.
I have it like on my leg.
Yeah, because like I'll watch it in my hands, but then when I need to wipe, I'll put it on the floor, and then like
I'll put it on top of the. I'll
continue
like put it
watching.
on top of the toilet bowl, not the bowl. No, well, like the thing at the back.
so you like turn your head 180 degrees.
Do you wipe your ass while you're sitting down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, bro. I've heard of this.
Is this weird? Is that
Yeah.
weird?
No. Bro, on the H3 podcast, they had this period of time where they'd always ask their guests if
They sat
I don't
down
think
to
I
wipe
don't
their
think
ass
so
or
much sat.
stood
I
up.
don't. Yeah, because it was a massive debate because no one actually talks about it and way more people do it than you think. Like, it was sitting or standing when you wipe, and also front to back or back to front when
Front
you
to
wipe.
back. Sit
Front
down,
to
front
back.
to back.
Front to back, but stood up.
See, I go back to front.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, because
I feel weird.
that way you can just scoop. You can just kind of scoop. Whereas if you're doing front to back, you have to lean to the side, don't you?
Not really.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
put
no,
your
no,
ass
yeah.
up, don't you? Well, you're
Yeah,
standing up,
yeah.
aren't you?
I'm
So
standing
you
up.
solve
I'm
that
standing
problem.
up. Hey, my problems are solved.
But Chris's case, he'll have to lean on one
Yeah,
cheek.
yeah. I always go.
Yeah.
I always go right cheek up.
See, we're all different. We're all different. in
Well,
our
who
bum
knew that
wiping.
everybody's shit's different?
I mean, front to back, I don't think makes a difference. But like to me, like standing up and when your cheeks go from like the open to the closed position.
Yeah.
Does it not cause some like I don't know, some like spreading?
Also, surely don't you feel like you know how some like one of the weird kids in like primary school, how they'd like piss at a urinal, they'd put their trousers all the way down. Like, don't you feel like that? Like bro, you've got your pants and your trousers down your ankles, and you're just wiping your ass in the open. Like that's
In the
weird as
open,
fuck.
nobody's in there.
Yeah, but it's in open space. It's weird.
So, why's that weird?
Also,
I
I've
don't
actually
know,
I've actually
man.
got a theory for this because me and Joe sit down, but me and Joe both have a lot more ass hair than you do.
That's true, probably.
So I'm gonna ask.
Oh.
I'm gonna start asking people, and then also ask how much hair they've got. 'Cause I
It's
think
interesting. It is
There could
interesting.
be a correlation.
Yeah, man.
It is definitely interesting.
Get your manscaped lawnmower on your ass, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, trivia. Somehow that's the most heated discussion we've had so far on this podcast. But I suppose if it was going to be any, it's about Tusk. That's when you really want to be thinking about how you shit.
Oh, that's a good question.
I'll go on, hit me.
Walrus suit, poo is for a hole.
There wasn't. That's what I was wondering.
Interesting.
I think you just shit in the suit. I do piss
Interesting.
in the suit.
Thing is though, as well,
I didn't
how
think
is
about
the
this,
suit
did you?
waterproof?
What happens if you get an erection in the suit?
Do you think he cut that off as well?
I didn't mention it. I didn't say he cut his peen off.
True.
I don't think he's thought all this through.
No.
How
think
does
he
a
needs to do
walrus
better.
shit?
So, Kevin Smith and Johnny Depp's daughters are the people behind the clerks at the convenience store, you know, that make fun of his mustache.
Oh yeah.
What's more important than that, what do you think Kevin Smith, lover of comic books and all things DC, named his daughter? What do you think her actual legal name is?
Crypto.
It's Harley Quinn.
No.
Yeah, her name is Harley Quinn Smith.
That's disappointing.
Look it up, Chris,
you-
it's fucking
you
true.
You are absolutely correct.
Yep.
Well, hang on. I've just gone on a Wikipedia page, and it says she's an American actress and musician. She appeared in the film Tusk and starred in its spin-off.
What?
Yoga hosers.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the next. There was a trilogy planned of like films about things that go on in Canada by Kevin Smith. Yoga Hoses was made, and then there was one that was going to be called Moose. I don't know, something about
No, that's disappointing.
something
Holy-
about a shark that's also
Sorry,
a
sorry.
moose or something.
Sorry, Yoga hosers. Budget 5 million. Anyone want to guess what the box office is? How much it brought in?
600,000,
Less.
300,000,
Less.
125,000,
Less.
90,000,
Less.
30,000.
38,000.
Wow, that's such a loss.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Holy shit. Why would he get more money after Tusk? Why would you give him more money? Is it his own money? It would have to be, right? God, the person doing this trivia shit, I'm not gonna lie. What else is there? There's just a bit of trivia at the end that just says body count 1. I don't know what that means. It just says body count 1. Is that implying that only one person dies in this film? Because that's not true. The kid who kills himself dies.
Maybe that's how many people he fucked once he turned into a walrus.
Did he fuck the old man? Did the old man get fucked by a walrus penis? Also, is that Mr. Tusk's actual penis? I think he said it was, didn't he?
Ah.
Because if it is Mr. Tusk's actual penis above the fireplace, did he cut it off and bring it with him on the rescue boat? Did nobody be like, the fuck? It's a good question.
Good question.
Yeah, see?
We want answers, Kevin. Can you
God,
do a Q&A?
give us a... Well, there's a documentary about the making of Tusk. Came out in 2019. I don't know why they waited 5 years to release that. Oh, stupid. The walrus suit is made from foam and polyester. Great. The person doing this trivia, poor form. You start off great with Quentin Tarantino and how many days the movie was shot in facts, and then you just lose us. As an audience, you just lose us. Well, has anyone else got anything to say, or can we roll on into the outro of this fucking disaster?
I think I've, said everything I need to.
I know Joe's got a lot still work that he needs to finish. I don't want to keep him too long. You got everything? Is that everything you want to say, Joe? You're sounding like a real Wallace right now. If someone removes your tongue, can you not say anything?
I imagine you couldn't.
You think? I don't know enough about human anatomy and
Yeah.
the way it goes. There's no unless you grab your tongue. You get higher.
You could make like sounds which would like kind of maybe vaguely resemble words. But I think I don't think you reduced to what it showed in the film of just.
Yeah, but to be fair, where he cuts holes in the mouth to put the tusks like in, so maybe that's keeping the mouth at a weird.
Yeah.
Maybe he does know what he's doing.
Maybe he's a genius.
But anyway, we've made it to the end of the show. I'm sorry, there's only 2 sounds queued up and we're not doing... Alright, you're right.
Yes!
I'm going to abuse this power in future podcasts. You better be glad you're not in every week, Chris.
Yeah.
So anyway, outro. Thank you for fucking listening to this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. If you're watching the YouTube version, thank you for staring at the thumbnail for so long, and especially if you've got it on a big screen, realizing how low resolution it is on a big screen. I hope you liked looking at it. I don't know what I'm going to do for it yet. Chris has given me so many options. There's so many options. I got to be creative. Get those. Maybe. Hey, can we maybe get 7 views this week?
Oh shit.
Maybe. How many of them are going to be just us 3 rewatching it? I don't actually rewatch it. I have to listen to it twice anyway when I'm editing. So.
To be honest, I haven't seen the last 2. I don't think.
Wow, that playground one was very funny. It's pretty funny.
Monkey.
Yeah. So yeah, like, you know, I'm not even gonna fucking say it. No one cares. No one cares. You know what? I'm gonna break the YouTube. Whatever. Do whatever you want. Do whatever.
Grow up.
I ain't telling you what to do. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Grow up. Get in a walrus suit. Joe, what are you going to do for the lovely... Even though I've told them not what to do, if they do like, Joe, what are you going to do for the lovely people at home?
Okay, so... I'm willing to bet most of you people listening to this are kind of lonely.
Oh.
So tonight...
You'd have to be.
Tonight when you go to bed, I'm just going to tuck you up nicely, like a caterpillar. You know? I'm going to tuck the sides in, wrap you up. And you're going to have the nicest sleep of your life. So that's what I'm gonna do for you.
There's no but.
Nah.
I thought you were going to be like, well, I've cocooned you, but then I'm going to sew it shut and you'll wake up as a walrus, but then I'll save you. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. maybe as you leave the room, as they've just started sleeping, I run in with a sewing kit. And then when they wake up, I go, is man truly a walrus at heart? I'm just kind of upset that no one saw Tusk and like tried to emulate it in real life.
Good point.
But maybe me saying that on a podcast is going to be the internet mocking people getting hurt, and then maybe it's come up and there is somebody that's gonna use this reference, and they're gonna find me and they're gonna cut my leg. There's somebody at my door. Oh no, it's Mr. Tusk. Chris, give us your best walrus impression as we end the show.
This is not something I've practiced.
Don't need to practice.
I don't know
Man
what
is a
sound.
man is a walrus at heart.
Look into my heart. Look into my heart, and I shall find a
Look
walrus.
into your heart. The floor is yours.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was my best recreation of an in-movie sound.
I've got an erection.
Oh yeah, baby.
I'm just gonna be gone for 5 minutes real quick. Do you think Tusk porn exists?
Goodbye.
That's a great question.
Well, look it up and we'll tell you about it if there is next week. Bye everybody! It better exist.